Now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Ammo. Thank you so much for the response of the previous episodes. I'm definitely going to keep this going. The response has been incredible. Thank you so much for that. Again, my name is Warren Peace. This is the show where I show you fellow DJs and producers tips and tricks for the club, which I call Ammo for the club. Today's episode is going to be on loops and loop rolls. Now, these are probably the most basic things you can do to spice up your mix or make it a little bit more lively. And it's also, the loops are also the foundation of most of the tricks and tips that I will be showing you in future episodes of Ammo. Loops are basically looping small pieces or large pieces if you're trying to extend the break or something. Small pieces of songs to just do tricks with it or to loop it because you want to extend the break. Loop rolls basically loop parts of the song, but the player head of the song still keeps going forward. So you might be looping this part of the song, so you're looping this part of the song, but the player head is going. When you let go of this loop, it jumps up to here. The player head jumps back up to here. So the sound coming out comes from here. Now, loop rolls are kind of like, when you start playing with loop rolls, it's kind of like scratching. I don't want to say it's like scratching. Maybe it's not even close to scratching, but it's kind of like the same feel. And loop rolls, trust me, you can overuse these things just like scratching way too much. I am so guilty of that. I overuse loop rolls all the time. These are really, really good ways to add little things to the mix. So let's get into it. Let me show you how to do this. Okay, so basically, I'm going to show you how to do all of this on an SP1, a DDJ SP1. If you have a different controller or a Serato DJ controller, these pads basically correspond to everything that's on the SP1, will correspond to stuff on your controller. If you don't use a MIDI controller or a Serato DJ controller, you can use the shortcuts on your computer or just use the mouse. And I'll show you the spots on Serato DJ where you can do this. Now, when you go to your SP1, you have hot cue, roll, slicer, and sampler. You basically use roll for your loop rolls. If you have the loop rolls, you'll see that the setup is like this, and these buttons on the bottom will be lit and the ones on top won't. This basically means you're in beat jump mode. Now, I like beat jump mode. If you want to get out of beat jump mode, just go to your computer, click on setup, and don't show beat jump, and the beat jump controls are gone. If you do this, the loop rolls correspond from 8 different slots of loop rolls going on this particular instance. It goes from 1/4 all the way to 32. You can do a loop roll for that long. I usually just use the top 4 and I have beat jump control on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on. When you have beat jump going, so your song's going, the way you control the variations or different sections of beat roll is basically by using this button up here, which controls the parameters. You can go from 1/32 all the way to 1/4. My sweet spot is usually 1/8. I usually like the 1/8. And so you have 1/8 on top all the way to 1. Now these are to me, my prime loop roll sections. So loop roll 32nd. Actually, this is 8th. 4th, half, 1 beat, and you basically, as you're mixing, you just play around with it. Do different combos and stuff like that with it.
Got to have
Okay, so that's basically loop rolls. You can play with it all day. There's so many variations you can do. Try not to overuse it. It's so easy to overuse. Now loops, you use this knob right here, and it's basically in the same spot as the loop roll on your computer string, and it shows you the size of the loop. So, if you want to do a 1 beat loop, 1 beat, and you can cut it half a beat by turning it a 4, a third, 8, 16th, cut it up. This is 4 beat right there. 4 beat loop is very common. 4 beat loop is so common that you can use the shortcuts on the CDJ to do it also. So, what you do on the CDJ for a simple 4 beat loop, you hit loop mode, and it gives an automatic 4 beat loop wherever you are. Now to cut it, right here are the buttons right here to cut it. And that's basically it for loops. Now, you can set manual loops also. I rarely use manual loops, so I'm not really going to show you how to do that, but you can set a manual loop using these buttons over here on the CDJ, also using the shift right here, manual loop under the slicer button will show you different ways to use a manual loop. But again, I don't use it. I just stick with auto loops all day, and I use the shortcuts on the CDJ for the loops. So that's really it. The key thing with loops and loop rolls is you want to basically play around with these two things at the beginning of the club or at the end of the club, just to get a feel, especially loop rolls, because it gives you can add the momentum and add a little spice to your mix, but you want to get that feel of when you should use it and when you shouldn't. Thanks again for watching Ammo. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this episode. Please feel free to follow me on all social media outlets. It's at Warren702, Instagram, Twitter, etc. at Warren702. If you have any questions or whatever, hit me on the comment section below or email me, ammo@directmusicservice.com. All this information is below on the comments section. Please feel free to hit me anytime. I look forward to bringing you another video soon and hope to give you more ammo for the club. Thanks a lot, and peace.